Okay, so it seems like recently there's been a lot of discussions around Sameko Saba. Now, if you guys don't remember, we covered, the whole debut and everything, which was so positively kind of received. And I think a lot of people have been, keeping an eye on her. But it seems like recently, she's been on a lot of breaks in terms of just kind of being a little bit patchy in terms of streams. And obviously, that is okay. But it seems like obviously some fans are getting a little bit frustrated or whatever. And it seems like other fans are telling them, hey, let's stop worrying about this. This has always been a thing that has happened. Now, again, it's a very interesting situation because if you guys don't know, obviously Saba's past life over at Hololive, she used to take a lot of breaks as well during that kind of time. Yeah, obviously she's been kind of doing things on and off with, her new kind of persona as Saba, which has been, very interesting to see. You can see, like, her last post was back in February 6th, so pretty much exactly a month ago. Now, again, I don't think there's anything to worry about this. I think that this is a very normal thing that we have always known to happen with Saba. And yeah, it seems like recently I came across a post on the Saba subreddit, essentially talking about a discussion about Saba's communication. They say, this post was inspired by someone recently making a post here, wondering if there's been any updates from Saba. So yeah, people have been making a lot of posts in the Saba kind of Reddit and all of that kind of stuff saying, hey, where's she at? Is there going to be any stream soon? Yeah, here it is. Saba updates. Has Saba streamed in members lately? Was she taking another break? I heard she's going to be at an event soon. Not mad or anything, just haven't watched her in a bit. And obviously people saying, no member stream or post. The last stream was the collab. They say, I haven't seen anything recently, but the collab shop with Roa has opened. The prices seem to be on the higher end, much more than I'm used to, but she said last time she had things in store for us, and knowing how much she cares about quality, I reckon it was a bit more pricey, which is reflected in the prices. Said either way, I assume we're going to be having a fish sighting in the next couple of days. So yeah, obviously a lot of people, kind of speculating that she might appear soon. We said last time we saw her was at the Minto Jazz concert, which obviously was true. And yeah, the last stream that she had was 3 weeks ago, where she was live with Henya, and I think it's Limu as well. So again, obviously that is great to see. But it was 3 weeks ago, and people have been discussing it, essentially saying, let me preface by saying me nor anybody is entitled to anything from her. She doesn't owe us anything. But how do you guys feel about these stretches of complete radio silence from her online? And I don't mean from YouTube, I mean from Twitter, the main place she gives updates. I just wish there was a little bit more updates there every once in a while. I'm sure an occasional short one-sentence tweet giving the smallest bit of insight into what's going on would be sufficient to her fans. She clearly doesn't use Twitter in general often and wants her privacy, which is totally fine, but I can't be the only fan who is a little bummed out when we're just left in the dark for weeks on end. I still love her and always will. Now, again, I think that essentially, I don't think that Saba necessarily owes to kind of update people, constantly about what is going on, right? If she does want to use Twitter for a long time, that is fine. And she has been known to leave kind of responses sometimes. She did one recently on her last kind of hiatus or whatever, essentially, talking about why she was away, when she's going to be back soon, and stuff like that. And as people have said in the comments down below, people saying, PL did the same thing and I got used to it. But honestly, I'm on the fence of her not owing us anything, or at least giving us some update, like with what you said, a short sentence on what she's up to. That people say she doesn't owe us anything, but she kind of does. You shouldn't take money from people under the guise of providing content, then ghost them. Payment creates an obligation, which again, some people are saying, for example, she has like members on and stuff like that, and people are paying money to see her. Some people are trying to argue the fact that, she should be up and streaming and she owes people that, which I don't think is the case, right? I think at the end of the day, you make a conscious choice to, sub to Saba, or give money to Saba in any way possible, knowing her past life and knowing that she does take breaks quite often. I think that if you are subbing to Saba with the intent that, she's going to be always around and going to be a consistent streamer, I think you're a little bit stupid. I'm going to be honest. I feel like you haven't done your research into exactly, how often she does take breaks and, whether she needs them as well, because nobody's considered like, hey, maybe it's for a very good reason. Again, I don't know what goes on in her personal life. I'm not going to dig into that, of course. But, it could be a multitude of reasons, right? And I don't think it's anybody's right to say, yeah, she should be tweeting more when she could be going through anything, right? She could be going through literally literally anything. And I feel like it is a little bit wrong to be like, yeah, she should be tweeting. Yeah, she should be, you know, kind of telling us where she's at all the time. And again, as I said before, she does give updates. Like, obviously, she doesn't give updates every single day, but she does give updates whenever she has been away for a little bit of a while, being like, hey, you know, I'm sorry about that. You know, we'll be back soon at this date or whatever, or soon in a couple of weeks or whatever, right? And I think that's all that needs to be done, right? I don't think she needs to be updating people on like a weekly basis, be like, yeah, still not going to be around, you know, because if she's not going to be around, she's not going to be around, right? Why would you need an update on the fact that she's not going to be around? Because you're just going to know that because she hasn't posted, right? Like, I'm going to be real. I feel like it's a little bit weird because, you know, if she was to do something, say, on a weekly basis, right, on a little bit of an update, or maybe even fortnightly basis, and she still needs more time off, you know, there's no point to the post, right? She's just gonna go, hey guys, you know, I'm gonna be away again for another 2 weeks, and yeah, it'll probably be the same the week, 2 weeks after that as well. And she's just gonna be posting that until she comes back, rather than she could just go, hey, I'm going for a bit. Anyways, I'll be back in a bit, and then obviously comes back whenever she can. Right? I feel like that's more of a better way to kind of go about it, right? You're saying people get let down when they have expectations. It's not easy. It's not easy to not have any expectations at all. One might expect not being jump scared during an ASMR, for example. If you watch a member that usually has done really weird ASMR and does a kind of jump start every once in a while, and you keep watching, that's on you. By now, I think people who watch Saba should know this is how she streams. And if in years of people protesting, begging, etc. for change, said change hasn't come, people should read the writing on the wall. Either watch and accept, or there's the door. Again, 100% true. This person is based as hell, because again, people know the kind of style that Saba streams in and how often those streams become. It usually comes in lots of bursts, you know, lots of you know, spaced out bursts, where she does like a lot of streams for like a month, and then maybe goes away for a month, and then comes back and does a lot of streams, and then yeah, no, and I think it's a very common thing, and we've known that since her past life, right? But for some reason, some people are like, oh, but I thought she was going to change because she's gone indie. No, like, just because you're going indie doesn't mean all of your problems just go away, right? I mean, like, you know, obviously, maybe it allows her to be more free. If anything, actually, to be honest, going indie probably allows her to have more time off and to allow herself to give herself that time off, right? Because again, obviously, you don't have the pressure of like corporate down your neck, being like, hey, you need to stream, hey, you need to do this because you're part of the company, right? And obviously being indie, she doesn't have those expectations anymore. She can just continue to do what she wants and take time off whenever she needs to. And obviously she does need to, because, you know, else she wouldn't be taking time off, right? So again, I do think it is pretty crazy that some people sometimes think that her going indie seems to be like, you know, this, oh, she's going to stream more moment. If anything, it means that she can potentially take more breaks off. Which I think is, yeah, pretty insane. People saying it's fine to feel that way, and unless she says differently, don't get yourself up in a knot and enjoy the times that she's on. Yeah, 100%, right? You know, so I know a lot of people tend to love Saba and other VTubers, right, to a large degree. They watch their videos all the time, whatever. They watch their streams all the time. And, you know, they can't wait for the next thing. But let's be real, there's a lot of content creators on the platform. There's a lot of VTubers on the platform that you can go and watch instead while she's away. And obviously, whenever she comes back, then you can go and watch her, right? I feel like, you know, this kind of like, oh, she has expectations to go live and whatever. Just go and watch someone else for a bit, right? It's really not that hard. And again, you know, as they say there, just enjoy it whenever she's there. And whenever she's not there, find something else to do, right? Okay, it's really not that hard. I feel like it's not that hard, right? People saying, based on the stuff she's put out there, I just assume she was busy on other projects and has to prioritize her time because she's doing it on her own now. A pop-up event should be starting at the moment, so I don't know how much of that is taking up her time. You know, saying she day trades, it takes most of her time, and she's doing so she lacks enthusiasm to stream because she's already a millionaire, almost multi-millionaire. Like literally, aside from pressure to perform on stream and entertain well, she literally has no other way because she's incredibly wealthy. Again, I don't know. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if that's supposed to be a joke. I don't know what she does, you know, in her spare time. So again, I don't really want to comment on that. Because then it's surprising for me that someone is actually watching streams and stuff. I think the only thing I ever do is listen to her covers and okay, Jesus Christ. I still think I listen to her Leve covers every day because her voice is literally beautiful for the heavens, which, okay, great. Like, good for you, man. But again, you know, I think it is one of these cases, right? You know, you can enjoy Saba and her streams whenever she's there, but let's be real, let's not get too hung up on hiatuses and things like that. She clearly needs it for whatever reason, and, you know, that's about it, right? I don't think she owes us any kind of updates or whatever, you know, while she's gone. I think that, you know, she'll come back when she comes back, and in the meantime, just go and watch some other VTubers. There's so many out there that you can go and watch, or even other content creators in general. So, again, I think some people are getting a little bit too, you know, I guess, lost in the sauce with this kind of stuff. And as I said, just enjoy it when she's there, and when she's not, go and enjoy other things, right? But yeah, that's essentially all I got for this video. If you guys did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameSubs, use my code Kazo, get 10% off. Again, they've got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, see you guys in the next one. That's all.